Let's continue with our 9 weeks test review. This is page number 4, I believe. Yep, we're on page number 4. And f of x is equal to negative 2 raised to the x power plus 3 plus 6. When we did this, it was a discovery activity. And you remember in the discovery activity, you had to plug in values for the x. So we did like negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2. You had to plug in those negative values to find out what your f of x or y value would be. And that will help you being able to graph that. So I want you to do that for number 4 and for number 5. Plug in those x values, see what the f of x will be, and then you should be able to identify the characteristics of the graph. Remember, your asymptote is when the graph starts curving. It will start approaching a line. It will not intersect that line, but it will get very close to that line. And that would be most often when y is equal to whatever line it starts approaching. It will not cross it, but whatever point of the y-axis it will start approaching when y is equal to some number. Same thing with number 5. Okay. So, and you can also go back and look at your notes that we had when we talked about shifting, vertical shifting, if it went up or down, left or right. There's something about this, and then you have that negative sign. Then you have that plus 6, so it's going to tell you about how it shifted. Did it go up 6 or did it move to the left or right 6? Number 6, I do want to move on to number 6. The first year that GTHS existed, the senior class was very small, and only 53 senior shirts were sold. Each year since then, the number of senior shirts sold has increased by 8%. So we know this is an increase, and that 8% would be that 1 plus 0.08, which would be 1.08. We started out with only 53 t-shirts sold, so that's our initial value at a rate of 1.08 raised to the x power. In a bacteria sample, about half of the cells are eliminated. So we got half of the cells being eliminated. It began with 13,500, so that would be my initial value. Half of them are eliminated, so it's time 1/2. We do not know the time. So if the sample began with 13,500 cells, write a function to represent the number of cells remaining after X days. So we do not know the time. Number 8, in another petri dish, a bacteria sample is increasing. If the sample began with 4 cells, that's my initial value. Doubles every hour, that's my basing rate. Write a function to represent the number of bacteria cells present after X hours. So we do not know the time. So that's 4 times 2 raised to the X power. I'm going to go on to our last page since that was a short little review. Talk about David bought a boat for $5,000, but the boat is expected to decrease 15% each year. Write a function to determine the value of his boat after X years. So we know the value of his boat would be f of x is equal to initial value 1 minus the rate, because it is depreciating, raised to the x power. So that's f of x is equal to, he bought the boat for $5,000. So that's his initial value. But it's depreciating at 15%. So that's 1 minus 15% is 0.05. 0.15, sorry. Okay, and then if I simplify, it would be f of x is equal to 5,000, and 1 minus 0.15 is 0.85 raised to the x power. Okay, so you can calculate the depreciation value after the number of years. So you should be able to do this using the calculator, plugging in 0 into your equation and get your value f of x. Then you do the same thing for the 1 all the way through 6. After you do that, then you should be able to graph it and plot the points on the graph. In this case, it asks in C, do we connect the dots? Why or why not? Yes, we connect the dots because the value decreases continuously. So every day the value of that boat, because the boat is getting older and older every day. Each day the value decreases. So in this one we will connect the dots. You should be able to tell what the x values are for your domain. You should be able to tell the range of your y values. Okay, and remember your y values, just so you know, this would be 0 is less than or equal to x less than, and I'm going to let you fill that part in for the x values. For your y values, 0 is less than y, less than or equal to, and you tell me what will be the maximum amount. Determine x when f of x is equal to $2,218.53. What does it mean in the context? So you're trying to determine how many years will it take before the boat is worth $2,218.53. What years? How many years will it be worth that amount? So you should be able to tell that from your graph that you did. Evaluate f of 3 and what does it mean? So you have your equation in part A. So in part A, you will go and substitute 3 for the x. Okay, and you should know that that is the boat value in 3 years. After 3 years, that's the value of the boat. Number 14, after 4 years, David decides to sell his boat and buy a newer model. If David wants to get as much money as he can off selling the older boat, should he sell it for $1,800? So we're talking about 4 years. So what is the value of his boat after 4 years? F of x. So go and look at your graph. 4 years, what is the value of his boat in 4 years? Should he sell it for $1,800? You should be able to answer that question to determine, do you want to sell it to make money or do you want to lose money? Do you think David want to make money or lose money on selling his boat? So you should be able to answer that question. And that will be the end of our first 9 weeks review. Good luck.